Nearly 4,700 auto workers in Oshawa, Ontario arrived for a normal shift only to be told production was being suspended, not due to falling demand or supply chain breakdowns, but because a political decision made in Washington instantly disrupted their livelihoods. This moment reflects something far larger than a simple trade dispute. It reveals a calculated economic pressure strategy targeting one of the most deeply integrated manufacturing relationships in the world. The 25% tariffs imposed under Donald Trump on Canadian automotive and steel sectors didn't act as a negotiation tactic. They triggered a systemic shock. Companies like General Motors and Stellantis were forced to halt operations not by choice, but because cross-border production, where parts move between the US and Canada multiple times, became financially unsustainable. Each border crossing now adds cost, turning profitable vehicles into losses and setting off a cascading shutdown across suppliers at every level. While the policy is framed as protection for American workers, the reality is far more complex. The U.S. auto industry depends heavily on Canadian integration, and dismantling that system risks billions in restructuring costs and threatens thousands of American jobs as well. What makes this situation critical is that it contradicts the very framework of the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, which guarantees duty-free trade under specific conditions these tariffs now undermine, prompting Canada to initiate formal dispute proceedings. Under the leadership of Mark Carney, Canada's response has been strategic rather than reactive, targeting politically sensitive U.S. industries like agriculture and manufacturing to apply internal pressure rather than matching scale directly. At the same time, Canada is accelerating trade diversification through agreements with Europe and Pacific nations, gradually reducing dependence on the U.S. market. The long-term implication is not just economic strain, but a structural shift. If Canadian exports permanently redirect even partially, the U.S. risks losing supply chain integration built over decades. Historical parallels, such as the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act, show how aggressive tariffs can trigger retaliation and deepen economic instability rather than resolve it. On the ground, the consequences are immediate and human: missed paychecks, halted production, and uncertainty for entire communities tied to manufacturing. Meanwhile, policymakers remain insulated from these impacts, highlighting a widening gap between decision-making and real-world consequences. Canada still holds powerful leverage through critical minerals and energy exports, resources essential to U.S. industry, and while these tools haven't been fully deployed, their existence reshapes the balance of power. Ultimately, this is not just about tariffs. It is a test of whether rules-based global trade can survive when its leading architect begins to bend those rules. The outcome will determine not only the future of North American manufacturing, but also the credibility of international economic agreements for years to come.